If you're pouring your heart into your podcast, but still struggling to turn those listeners into paying clients, I've got something just for you. Imagine having a clear, simple plan to turn your listeners into buyers without relying on a huge audience or spending hours on social media. That's exactly what we'll create together in a podcast profit plan discovery call. During this free 20-minute call, I'll help you discover more opportunities for profit in your podcast and give you the next best step to turn your show into a client attracting machine. If I've got an offer that will help you expedite this process, then we can also discuss working together. Book your free podcast profit plan discovery call now by going to podcastingformoms.co/profit plan or by clicking the link in the show notes. I can't wait to chat with you. Consistency sounds great until real life hits. The sick days, the school pickups, the mental load, and when am I even supposed to record this spiral? In today's episode, I'm pulling back the curtain on how I actually stay consistent with my podcast as a busy mom, and spoiler, it doesn't involve batching 10 episodes at once or working super late into the night every night. I'm sharing real rhythms, tools, and mindset shifts that keep me showing up without burning out. If you've been struggling to stay on track with your show, this episode's your permission slip to simplify and find a rhythm that finally feels doable. Welcome to Podcasting for Moms, the show for moms in business ready to start, grow, and scale a podcast that turns their listeners into buyers. I'm Jenny Soneson, a podcast strategist and fellow mom entrepreneur. You're in the right place if you want to learn how to start and grow a podcast that attracts your ideal clients and really does the heavy lifting for you when it comes to selling your offers, all while balancing life as a busy mom. Are you ready to create a podcast that grows your income, impact, and influence? Let's make podcasting work for you, because as moms, we know how to get things done. All right, let's jump into the episode. Hey there, and welcome back to Podcasting for Moms. This is the final episode in our 5-part minimum viable podcast series, and today we're wrapping things up with a peek behind the curtain. How I stay consistent with my podcast as a busy mom. No team of 10 and no magical hours appearing out of thin air. Just rhythms, systems, and a podcasting approach that supports my life, not competes with it. If you've ever struggled to stay on track with your show, or you worried about how you'd ever keep up after launching, this episode's for you. Let's get into it. So first, I want to share what I don't do. So let's bust a few myths really quick. I don't record weekly in real time. I don't create brand new content from scratch every single week. And I don't work on my podcast every single day. That's not sustainable for me, and I'm willing to bet it's not sustainable for you either. Instead, I've built a repeatable, flexible system that helps me stay consistent even when mom life gets a little bit chaotic. Because, spoiler, it always does. So let's talk about what keeps me consistent, the 3-part rhythm. So the first thing is batching based on seasons, not pressure. I don't always batch 10 episodes at once, although sometimes I do if I have the time. Although sometimes I do if I'm in a season of doing that. More often, I batch in 2 to 3 episode sprints. I use my episode mapping template to map 4 to 6 weeks at a time and then record in focus blocks based on when I have energy, not arbitrary deadlines. The second thing is Airtable plus streamlined workflows equals my secret sauce. So I use Airtable to track every single piece of my podcast process, from episode ideas to status updates to links, tasks, everything. And because I've built such a rinse and repeat workflow, it makes it super easy for me to quickly edit the episodes and get show notes written and SEO optimized without a ton of extra time on my plate. And at this point, it's me doing it pretty much all by myself. I don't have any assistants with my own podcasts at this point, but having that process mapped out saves so many hours of mental load. And the third thing is that I have templates for everything. From my episode outlines and intros to my call to actions and show notes, I reuse, repurpose, and tweak. Templates aren't lazy, they're efficient, and they allow me to focus on the message, not reinvent the wheel every single week. I've learned that sustainability is greater than hustle. So here's what I've learned after years of podcasting as a mom. You don't need to be consistent all the time to be consistent overall. What matters is planning ahead for your real life, whether that's school breaks, sick days, launches, or seasons where you need more rest. That's why the MVP framework is designed to give you flexibility and structure so that you don't fall into the all or nothing cycle. And this is exactly what we help you do inside of Moms Behind the Mic Society. I give you podcast episode planning templates, Airtable workflows, community check-ins, and ongoing support to help you stay consistent without burnout, because podcasting doesn't have to be a solo sport. So if you take away just one thing from this episode, I want it to be this. Consistency isn't about being perfect. It's about finding a rhythm that works for you and giving yourself permission to adjust as your life evolves. And if you already have a podcast that's been collecting dust or just feels heavier than it used to, this is your permission slip to reset, to shift things so that they feel doable again. The MVP framework isn't just how I help clients start their show, it's how I keep them going. So if you're ready to start or grow your podcast in a way that fits your life, not overtakes it, here are your next steps. Apply for my one-on-one coaching or join us inside the Moms Behind the Mic Society. You can do this, you deserve to share your voice, and I'd be honored to walk alongside you as you do. Thanks so much for listening to this series, and if you've loved it, please send me a DM on Instagram at jenny.sunnison. I'd love to hear what episode resonated most. All right, I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you for tuning into Podcasting for Moms. I hope today's episode gave you the tools and inspiration you need to make your podcast work smarter, not harder. If you love what you heard, be sure to subscribe and leave a review. It means the world and helps other moms in business find the show. For more tips, resources, and support, head to podcastingformoms.co. Remember, you're not just building a podcast, you're building your legacy. Until next time, friends.